What I like to do is like I like to switch between those two. Like, you know, if I can switch between those, like these two, these three, uh, this is usually how I try to find something. Because if I'm shooting somebody here, it's like I try to spray control the other one on the other one. So if somebody was to push me and then somebody else is pushing me, I need to practice like this like back and forth pretty much, right? So, but first thing that you want to do is like you want to be able to do from here. You want to be able to do a 90 and a 180. So if you were to go forward, I can do a 180, right? Like say for example, I get shot from behind, I can do 180. But it all depends on the space that you have as well too on your where your mouse is. So maybe you might need to increase your sensitivity a bit more just to be able to do this movement, depending on how much movement you have, right? So forward 90, 180. And most of the time as well too, when I spray, because like my sensitivity is so low on this one, I would aim down, out, and then aim in. Like, you know, because it's too slow for this one when I'm aim inning, so I can't really like go 180 with this. I'm always doing like this. I'm always pointing. I want to use the free look to be able to move quite fast for it, right? So this is sensitivity wise. But like I said as well too, is like there's a lot of things that like physically that you need to be doing. Is like your your arm could be like one day could be like very sweaty, for example, but the sensitivity might be feels a bit more sluggish because just your arm, depending on how you play, are you like a finger player, like holding it like claw grip, or are you more like an arm wrist player? Then it can affect you. So getting like an arm sleeve or like getting like a shirt or something that you can use on a mouse pad, like a proper mouse mat, I would say, is helps you have consistency on things. Because most of the time, this is what you're struggling with. Is more like is more the consistency of things. Like it's not constant all the time, so you have to go fiddle with your sensitivity. So for me, it's like it feels natural, right? Feels right. It feels natural for me to move this, and it's constantly. Uh, and then PVE wise, is like map knowledge is something very important. So you need to know map knowledge. Where are the current peaks, for example? If you hear stuff in general, for example, and you're coming from elevator, most of the time, let's say for example, this would be the elevator door, right? And usually you have a box here, and then you have the alleyway, and this, let's pretend this is the box that's like between general, for example. So usually what you would want to do is that because Hazy has a door here, right? Has a door here and also has a people can jump on top. So when you will peek, you will want to peek on the first one first, on the first, which is Hazy, right? Actually, you would want to peek on the alley that's on the other side because there's scav here. So if the door is here, you want to peek here, the box, at the alley, right? Then you move a bit more. You peek in the box that's like laying right here, right? You peek on the box here. Then you move a bit more forward. You peek on Hazy, top box, then right box. So you have to kind of be very quick on it, right? It will maybe make more sense if I was in game, but I'm trying to like simulate what I'm trying to do. But a lot of it is like it's very the more you know about the map, the more you will learn about the peaks, the what people peak most of the time, right? So this, and then also recoil on this game is like there's no like it's not constant recoil, like it doesn't keep going up. There's only two guns that does this, is the AMB and then the FAL. Like if you shoot a FAL, like constantly, like actually they changed the recoil now, but the recoil is quite big for this one. But it used to keep going up all the time. The AMB as well too does that thing. But the recoil on AMB and Banshee now. right? But the recoil on this gun, on most guns, just goes like about 1 second up, and then it just is constant. So I'm just clicking my mouse right now. Now I'm not controlling nothing, I'm not doing anything, but you see it's just like peaking there. So when you aim down, you only have to do it for about a second. And then you just hold it. And then no matter where you move it, it's gonna stay the same pretty much. Right? So that's for recoil control. So when you're doing for example, I shoot this, I put this. When you're practicing this, for example, spray transfer, if you've controlled your 1 second rules, you can just move stuff around. That's it. But that's how recoil works in this game. Most recoil. That's why HK is so good, because you don't really have to pull a lot. But you need to master as well to PvP. Like for PvP, you need to master this, because right now, because armor is thinking a bit more, so you do have to put a bit more bullet down the range to kill someone. So you need to practice. You need to practice this, and your sensitivity as well too. For like some of these need to match as well to what works for you in terms of like moving your mouse down. Maybe you need to put it a bit more just to be able to control the recoil. But you might be affecting your movement from the other side stuff, right? And then very classic thing is like learning the peaks, like quick peaks. So it's in my keys. So my keys for key binding, for example, is where is it? Peak. Peak is on spacebar, right? And it's on hold. Because spacebar is the most comfortable thing for me to actually peak with, right? So I peak a lot with like spacebar. It's much more easier to use my thumb to do it. Some people inverse like the Q and E, for example, to be able to peak. My Q is jumping, my spacebar is peaking, right? So you need to practice this. Practice this movement. So it's an A, it's a D, spacebar, D spacebar, and then A. D spacebar A, D spacebar A, D spacebar A. Because what you want to do is like you want to get information before you fight. What I want to see this. Oh, I see this guy. I see this guy. I see this guy. Aim down, peek. You know, you can even pre-fire. You know, pre-fire on him before you give him time to actually fire back. Right? Pre-firing. Get information, pre-fire. Now you can mix it up as well too. My crouch is on E, for example. I can do this. Right? I can peek, crouch. Because sometimes when you peek like that, he might be expecting you to peek again, so you want to change the level. You want to change the level to like confuse him a bit and try to get like a bit, because by the time he adjusts, maybe he gives you like enough second to actually get that. Snapped up? What is snapped up? Like this? I mean, yeah, but you need to practice. So you can practice on this doing that. Right? And then the thing as well too is like when you peek, a lot of people, what they do is like they like to peek very close to the wall and then peek like that. The way the game works, like most game works as well too, is like you want to have something what you call peeker's advantage. Usually the camera is more on the right side, like towards the gun is. So when you peek, you will see less of yourself on the right side than peeking on the left side. But the thing when you peek on the right side is like you cannot be too close to it. If you're too close to it, you will expose yourself way much more. So sometimes actually keeping distance from it will actually make your character even smaller. But that's one thing that a lot of people do as well too, is like they come like very, very close to a wall and then start to peek, and they still get tapped anyways, and they still lose it anyways. Lose the right hand peek. So you want to be kind of a little bit off, because by the time he sees you, they won't like, you probably will see him before. And the rule of thumb as well, too, when you think about it, the keyboard allows you to hold A and D and let your finger input in me and recognize the others. Oh yeah, that's the AD spam. AD spam. I don't really do it. Like, people do it, it's like the AD spam. I don't really do it. I try to keep everything nice and clean. Like, it helps a bit with the if you're fighting like one-on-one, it helps a lot with this, but it's like it's very, for me it's just like spazzy, you know. Some people like to do it, but they do like macros and stuff. It's like they do it. I don't like it. It feels weird for me because my aim is like all the way off, so you have to kind of compensate as well too for it. So yeah. So peeker's advantage is like most of the time is like you actually want to make a bit more distance before you peek right. And think of it this way, right? Think of it this way. If there's a line that was drawn here, right? This is a good zone for you. Like, everybody that's peeking from this side is actually a good zone for you because you are forcing them to do a left peek, right? When they do a left peek, that means they will expose their body more. So if you are holding the angle on the right and he's holding on the left, you most likely will win. You have to be quick as well too with reaction, right? Gray zone will be more in the middle, if like somebody's like peeking from middle and stuff. If he is peeking on the right side, so the red zone I will call it, like if it was to be like a square here, red zone. If you're on the right, he's also on the right, let's say you're on equal. It just depends who's holding the angle at the same time. But if you were both to peek at the same time, you're like, you can call it you're on equal ground, right? So sometimes what you wanted to force people to do is to force people to go on the left side so that you get the advantage. But let's say, for example, I'm here. What I would want to do is like I would want to throw a nade on the right side, right? To force that person to go on the left side, right? To force that person to go on the right side. And also, if you're here, if you're holding, if you hold, if like that's why my left key is on Alt. I don't use it that much. That's why I have it on space. If you're holding, I would say 75% of the time, if you hold right angle peak, most of the time you will win. I would say 95%. Okay, 90% time of your time you will actually win your gunfights. If you just hold the right peak, distance a bit off angle, right peak, you will win 90% of your time of the PvPs when it comes down to peaking battle. I guarantee you that. Like, the way they've done it is like most game is like that. Peak is advantage. So you want people to fight on the right peak. If you just do that, like force people to fight on the right peak, it's good. It's good. It's really good. And now the other thing as well too is like when it comes down to how fast you peak. Let's see for example, some guns, for example, is like let me use this one for example. This gun is very terrible for peaking, for example, right? It's very slow. It's very slow compared to the AK-12, for example. Right? I can put this. You can see, right? It's slightly faster as compared to this one. It feels slightly slower, right? So sometimes with guns like this, for example, you don't want to peek when you are aiming down. You just want to maybe peek unscoped. So you want to peek unscope, then you peek. Then you peek shoot. Right? This as well. The other thing as well too is like if you have a backpack on and you're very heavy, it will also affect the way you peek. So what you want to do is like you also want to take out your backpack. Because if you're heavy, it will affect the way you peek. So that's why when you're fighting, you want to be able to remove your backpack. So the key for that is to remove backpack is double X. Where is it? Double click, quick drop is double click. I double click my X so I can drop my backpack. So if I have to fight, or I don't want to fight with the backpack on, you don't want that. You don't want to be heavy. I would say the only time you can actually have a backpack on your back to actually confuse the enemy if you use a feel. This is a very like kind of visual thing as well too, because the back is actually higher above your head. Right? It's actually higher above your head, so sometimes it will confuse enemy that somebody's peeking, but you're actually shooting the backpack. This is something that's a little bit of a tip, like, you know, that you can do. If you're running a field backpack, because it's very high, it will confuse people sometimes. Like people will just aim at the backpack and you'll be like, what the fuck? Like I'm trying to aim at his head, but I did nothing. But you're actually aiming at the backpack. So the field is actually higher than your head. So you can actually use that to trick the enemy to force them into shooting, and then you know where he is to get information, right? So this is like very basic stuff. Like you can go online and you will find stuff about like, you know, there's a lot of like Sura, for example, is very good with peeking and stuff. He plays a lot of like Rainbow Six and stuff. Like they have a lot of guides in there. But this is all little things that I do myself to be a bit better at the game. I won't say I'm like the best player, but I think I can manage quite well, I think. So this is like very, very mechanical thing that you need to understand how the game works. A lot of the other things, it's more about getting information. This is the most important thing in the game as well too. You will see like the way I think before I engage into things is like I try to listen first. Like I prioritize audio above everything else. There's a lot of people that can just W key, fast reaction and all this stuff. They can actually just go into a 4-5 teams. Like reaction time is so quick. Do a 180, do a 90 degrees, flick shot and all this stuff. I can't do that. Sometimes I can, but I'm not consistent on that. But so for me, what I do is like I try to get information. What I do is like I get information through audio. If the sound is muffled, for example, and you're on one level above, it's most likely that they're coming from below. So if you're below and the sound is muffled, it's coming from the top. So you want to listen as well too on audio cues. How many people are you gonna fight? How many people should you expect to fight? All of these stuff. So if I expect to fight 2 people, I should prepare, like for example, if I'm fighting somebody here and somebody else is gonna pick from behind, I know there's at least. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Bangalo. Thanks for the follow as well to Richard. I'm completely in the explanation mode right now. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I am already prepared to fight 2 guys. So let's say, for example, I aim at this guy, I kill this guy. I already know there might be somebody behind it. So if I were to, like, let's say, for example, so this is a guy that's running at me and I'm killing this first guy because he's the first guy to die, right? I will already prepare to fight. To place myself in a position where the other person will come and fight. If I were here and I hear people on my left, I hear the sound coming a bit more faster than this one. I prepare for this one. I immediately flick to the other one to prepare for the second fight. So this is something as well to where you use audio to actually prepare mentally on how to do proper PvP, you know? Because what happens sometimes, like you're so tunnel vision on one spot that you just kill this one guy, then you completely forgot about this one, right? So you use the audio that's coming closer to prepare yourself. Like, okay, this is that already. Even if there's nobody, you always prepare. You always prepare for something else. So that's how you like. Sometimes you play like very preemptively. So you say, okay, there's one entrance here. There's one entrance here, right? I'm holding here. I prepare. I hold angle. Even there's nobody, you never know. Maybe there's somebody that's like just chilling there or ratting or whatever, right? Prepare, hold, back, hold, back, hold, back, prepare. You always prepare for the next fight. When is the next fight? Because sometimes you get tunnel vision. So you get tunnel vision, you hold into this one, and then you completely forget here. That's how you think. And a lot of the time it comes down with experience as well too. Like the more you play the game, the more you understand the mechanics, the more you understand habits as well too of what people are doing. You understand angles. Some angles are the same all the time. If you're peeking from general, for example, like you peek into lounge first, then you peek into skybridge. All these peaks are like common peaks, so you want to be it's just mechanical thing over time. If you play forbidden, it's like a lot of it is very mechanical, so you can actually it might think like Forbidden might be a bit much more easier because everybody's so mechanical about things. Lockdown is a bit more crazier sometimes. People will do stupid shit. People will like be laying prone on the ground, all kinds of stuff like that. And sometimes as well too is like laying prone, by the way. So let's say, for example, if you shoot somebody and you really hurt and it's a T6 or something, it's like if you know he's going down, try to prone. A lot of people don't expect that stuff. Just try to prone and just hit them. It's your last chance anyways. You're gonna die to one bullet. The last chance that you can have is to confuse the enemy that they are trying to pre-aim already at your head or at your chest, but you're like very much more lower. So you want that little extra second maybe to kind of be able to kill that person. But it's just a matter of like, you know, practicing, right? Like how fast are you on decision making? The more you go into PvP, the more you do PvP stuff, the more you practice those things, the more it becomes a habit for you. The more it becomes like it's a normal thing. Sometimes I have days where the game I play very badly, or the game wants to fuck me over with like RNG and stuff. But there's games where like I'm very good at it. Like everything is working well. Like today it was working well. I just had like a good raid and all this stuff. 7 kills and all this stuff, wiping lobby and everything. Yeah. Those are little tips and tricks that help me over time. Because if you look at my stats, it's like it's not I won't say natural. I would say things came with progression, I would say. So it will take a bit of time for you to get used to it, to understand a bit how things work and all this stuff. But you should not be scared about like going into PvP if you have to. If you're not confident with fighting into going to the PvP, don't take it. At the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter if you die, you lose, you know. You lose your money. What you want to do, you want to extract. That's the thing. If you don't feel confident with the fight, don't take the fight. But if you look at my progression for example, so season 6, for example, I'm fighting a lot. But if you look at my progression from season 0, it's like this is where I started to learn the game and stuff. It's like, you know, fighting was quite bad. Did not like combat was bad. Search was bad. I was dying a lot, you know. But it's a progression that you learn over time, you know. It's a progression that you learn over time. Some people are natural at it. Some people have been playing the game, playing like other games, and they've had it in them for a long time. But it will just be a natural progression as you go, as you get better with the game, as you progress, as you learn more of the things, like the mechanic, the bullets, all the stuff. It's literally just practice over time. You will get better at it, and that's it. And just decision making. I've had good raids today, for example, like this one. 4 kills. Some days I have bad days, you know, all this stuff, bad days and stuff. But I mostly play solo. Another 3.7 mil, for example, 6 operator kill. It's just practice, like practice. Back then, when I used to play Lockdown, I used to play like a pussy. Like, if I were playing with other teammates or randoms. If somebody killed the guy that was in my team, I would lay still for pretty much the whole game until that guy starts looting, and I will kill the guy. Right? That's what I used to do. But now I don't really care. I try to use information as much as I can. In terms of information as well too, sometimes it's like I don't actually shy away from fights because I want to keep on hearing where they are. Because if you start rotating and all that stuff, you might lose information. So you might need to rescan, you might need to redo things. So sometimes it's actually good to stay in the same position. You try to get the information, like keep the information, knowing where things are going. Because if you start rotating and stuff, rotating is very good because, like I said, a lot of people actually just camp bodies. For example, it's good to rotate. Like I don't know if you watched the last raid I just did. I could have pushed forward, for example. But I was running out of meds. I was running out of standard. I know already there's only it's only like 2 ways in some ways to peek those bodies, either in the alley or next to the boxes. And knowing this game so much, I'm pretty sure somebody was like in the alley, right? So I stun. When I stun, I actually heard the sound as well too. So I knew exactly where he was, and I just prepared for that. And because he had left peek, even though he had a T5 body armor, right, I still destroyed him because I get 1 extra bullet on top of him that was needed to kill him. So right peak, actually, he had to left peak, I have to right peak. So that was my advantage. So I'm confident enough to actually push that because I'm going to even right peak. You can get a lucky headshot. That's the risk I would take. That's the last guy I need to do. I need to kill this last guy to be able to loot. Fuck it, you know? YouTube video. But if you were to do, if you were to like, you know, a bit low on money and all this stuff, maybe don't take that fight. You've already killed 7 people, you know? It's like you probably go around, just loot the bodies, or even wait for him as well too. So you don't need to be aggressive and push the fight. So it all depends on your confidence level as well too. It's like I felt confident enough. It's like fuck it, I'm gonna push it. It's the last guy. I need to do like YouTube stuff, content, and everything. So for me, it actually makes sense to actually do it. But if you're just playing for fun and making money, it's like you don't have to take all the fights. You don't have to do all this stuff. You could have gone to the other bodies that you've killed and all this stuff and take the money from there and then extract. Because at the end of the day, it's like either you enjoy PvP or you are trying to make money. That's depending on what you want to do. You want to survive. I'm not crazy expensive, but effective to the point. I'm comfortable losing to get gunfights and other guys can say. You can run a lot of the, for example, right now with the change that they've done with like T4 and stuff, you can actually tank quite a lot, I would say. Except if you're doing like really close quarter fight, T4 body armors actually are good, are pretty decent. The one that I like to run is, there's two I like to run right now with Armored Rig, for example, is you can run the TM1. Where is it? Oh. Where is it? This rig. You can run this one. TM1. You can run this TM1. You will also get a rig and a body armor, and it's pretty good. And it also protects like no, it's not this one. It's this one for armor. It's very good. There's the other one as well too. I run the TM2 because you have a 1x2 things. So, but the fear of loss is like it's just the game. It's just the way it is. It's like you can't do anything about it. Either you play with teammates as well too that can help you out a bit as well too with collecting your things out. But eventually when you start building your cash and stuff, like I look like I have 7 mil, but if you look at my stash, actually is more than 7 mil. Right? So I'm confident enough to lose the money. I don't give a fuck, you know. But you will build things over time, right? So gear-wise, AK-12, very good gun, overall very good gun. Even in Forbidden, sometimes you can run it. Very good gun. There is M4A1 as well too, very good gun as well too. There is the Ace as well too if you want. The Ace is actually a very good gun because firing power is high straight away. What you can do with this is you can actually top load. What I do is, for example, so let's say, for example, I have 2 stats. So what I do is, like, for example, is I will do half of MAD would be BPs, and then the other half is BS. If you run an Ace, for example, you can run the AP round, because this gun is pretty cheap to build, and it has quite good stats. I would say you can actually modify this to be quite good stats, and it will be quite cheap to run. The other gun as well too that you can run is a AUG. Where is it? An AUG. Sometimes I even run the default AUG, because straight away what you have is like you have a 42 rounder for it, and you have very good stat, just default gun. Now what you can do, you can actually just add a scope to it if you want, like a something that you like. I like to run, for example, the SRDS, or I've been liking this one as well too right now, the holoscope. Right, that's it. That's pretty much all you have to do. Just run this 150k. But what I do is like I top load with 995, for example. I've been testing, for example, FAMAS as well too lately. I've been playing a lot with FAMAS. But that's because the RPM is so high, like you will destroy people quite fast with even with A2s. So you don't need 995. But that's mostly for lockdown, I would say. And forbidden, I don't think it's you can still run it in forbidden, but like everybody's running like U1s or HKs and stuff like that. So I would say AUG is a good gun, very good budget gun. Ace is a very good budget gun. Um, there's another one as well too. It's a bit more of a niche gun, I would say. I like to run it. Is the AN94. Um, because the reason why I like this gun is that um, if you build it like very like that, and you do it on single fire, that gun, the scope, like you barely have any recoil. You barely have any recoil on this. And the good thing as well too with this thing is like because this game has a lot of issue, not I won't say issue because they've increased the HP head to 5 extra. Most of the time you will find yourself like finding somebody, shoot them in the head, and they have 1 HP left. So you always want to double tap in some ways. Like no matter where you are, always try to double tap. Even at close quarter, try to double tap all the time. But the thing is like with this gun is like it shoots 2 bullets at the same time. So every time you're pressing down, it shoots 2 bullets. So you're almost guaranteed that it's always going to be headshot. You're not going to deal with this bullshit of like, oh, this guy survived with 1 HP, Like I hate that stuff so much. It's like I complain about it all the time. It's like if the bullet penetrates your helmet, you should die. You should not have 1 HP. You should not be naked and be able to tank 2 headshots. I completely hate that stuff so much, right? But AN94 is a good gun as well too. It's kind of a bullet waster, so you want to maybe pistol with you, because you shoot 2 bullets each time. So if you're killing scav with this, it's a bullet waster. Very good gun. MPX as well too is pretty decent, I would say. MPX as well too is pretty decent. You can build a decent one for 300, but like this is quite with like all this weird scope and all this stuff. You don't need to run all that stuff. MPX, the good thing with MPX is like you get a lot of movement while you're aiming down as well too. Like your movement is not affected that much, so you can actually move quite a lot faster with the MPX than an HK or anything else. Like it feels good, and the RPM is pretty high on this. 850 is pretty high on this, so you will put bullet down the range quite fast. This what else? Vector as well too now with the ACP round is actually really good. You will shred even T6 with that stuff because it's 1100 RPM. You will shred people with that, so you can build like a decent one for like 200k for that. Now there's other builds that you can do as well too that's much more cheaper, but you can do that stuff. Like you can shred T6 very quickly with that. It's an RPM game, so the more RPM, the most likely you will win the fight because you shoot faster. Yeah. So my kit, what I like to run when I run lockdown, I like to run the. Let me buy my previous kit, not this one, but not T5. Usually I run in SEK, SEK body armor. I run an SEK body armor. I run this one. I go in worn. I don't buy it fresh. I buy it like worn. I run this one. I run a 926 rig. This one. The reason why I run this one is because when I do Tetrising, I'm most likely gonna kill somebody with a better rig than mine, right? But the good thing with the 926 is like every time it has a. Do I have another 96 here? I don't have a 96. Maybe in there. Oh, need to clean this stuff up. Let me buy 96 quickly. So let me show you why I like to run a 926. Because I have a 2x2. Because I have a 2x2, and this is a 2x3. But if you look at it, it actually gives you a 1x2 extra. So if I were to put a helmet in there and I put this and something else, I'm actually getting an extra 1x2 space. So this is very good when you do Tetrising, for example. It's actually very good to have this. I have a backpack, for example. Jesus Christ, I really need to clean my shit up. Right, I can. It gives you a lot of 1x2 space, but you can also put a helmet in it. And what I will do is like I will kill somebody else. I take their rig. You know. So this is very cheap, 15k as compared to 50k, for example. You know, this fits a lot of things. Even if I'm running no backpack, for example, I can still put a 1x2 here, 2x2 if I have to put all my meds. Put it here and swap it for like a red that I got, for example. It fits correctly in there. And then it helps a lot with Tetrising as well, too. You get an extra 1x2 space. So this is what I run, this, and then backpack. I would suggest M backpack because most of the time, if you want to really make money, the backpack will define how much money you will make in that raid. The bigger the backpack it is, the better it is for you most of the time. And that's why sometimes a lot of people lose on money is because they're not running a proper backpack, I would say. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, I've been going along about a lot of things that I've learned over time, I would say. But it's just a matter of like knowledge, map knowledge, a lot of, how would I say, a lot of repetition. Like you keep doing it over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. And this is might be a bit extreme, but if you look at my cursor, it's a red dot, right? It's a red dot. This is a bit extreme for me because I have to do 95, I work and all this stuff. So my way of training, oh, sorry. It's just my lobby scene. Yeah. But my way of training, for example, is do you see the oh, there's this. Do you see the little cursor, right? This is my way of training constantly on how to aim properly and how to be like very like how would I say like practicing with the cursor. It's a red dot. So every time I have to be very precise on what I'm doing. So I'm constantly practicing how to very micro adjust my things all the time. If it was a mouse, for example, I had mouse, I don't care. I was like, it's not this. But since I do this like 8 hours a day, I'm technically practicing how to be very accurate with my red dots, for example. So if I were to use this gun, it's like almost the same as my mouse right now, right? So I'm constantly practicing how to be accurate with the red dot. Recent browser. Yes, exactly. But that's mouse stuff. Like that's other things. But you see, like the red dot is almost the same as my mouse, right? So for me, then it becomes just natural because like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm just using a red dot to move things around. It might be a bit extreme, that thing, but it helps me. It's like I don't have to go on aim lab and like practice stuff. It's just a natural thing that I do every day. And the more you do something naturally, the more you practice something, the more you get better at it. It's just the way it is, right? So even changing stuff like that is a bit extreme, but it can help you, you know. So if that works for you, do it. Google how to put like, you know, red dot on cursor, change your cursor to red dot. It helps because it helps to be like very accurate with stuff, you know. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not even using my keyboard, it's just my mouse because I'm so used to like getting used to like seeing this red dot to move to where I want it to be that it just becomes natural, right? Like you don't really think about it anymore. So I don't really think about it. I can just like quickly move it around, you know, because I'm so used to it. That's all I've been doing 8 hours a day. So it becomes very natural for me to do that stuff. It's a bit extreme. Does it work? For me, it worked. I don't know if it works for everybody else. Should you guys do it? I don't know. I think honestly it works for me. Right? There's one thing as well too. Now in this game, there's a lot of jump shotters, right? So you need to practice a bit of jump shotting. Your gun, wherever it points, this is where it's gonna shoot. right? So if I run, for example, my gun shot here first and then go there. That's why when you put the mastery into jump shotting, it helps you a bit more with like shooting forward. So this dot in the middle does not really tell you exactly where you're going to shoot. It's going to give you an approximate of it, but it does not actually tell you where it is unless you're not moving. If you're not moving, then yes. If you're moving, not so much. It gives you an approximate. If you're jumping, for example, it's all over the place. So don't think this is a cursor. It's not a cursor. It's just a focal point where your middle of the screen is. You can take it off and just practice. But it helps. It helps sometimes. But it gets very confusing sometimes if you have to do hip fire, for example, is that you are too focused on the white dot than actually trying to estimate where it is, right? So yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like a lot of the things is like it's just habit. It's just like you do things practicing over time. I have 2,400 hours in game. So it's a lot of time spent into something. But yeah, most of it is just this. But if you have to do like a summary of what I did, is like you want to have consistency. Have an arm sleeve, for example. Have a mouse mat. Arm sleeve, I think, will help you a lot. Like it will help you a lot. It's like it will reduce the chances of needing you to readjust your aim every time. Not your aim, your sensitivity every time, and it will help you constant. So what you want to do is consistency. So arm sleeve is very good. Like this is physical part, right? The way you sit as well. You always want to be like in the same position all the time. Same thing that makes you comfortable. Your keybind. My keybind might be a bit different to yours because maybe my finger is just normal height, normal length. If your finger is a bit bigger now, maybe you might need to put the keys maybe further away from what I say to do. You know, so it's all a matter of like adapting to what makes it comfortable. Because when you're in a stressful situation, when you have to fight like 1v4 or like two teams coming in, you want things to be as easy for you to be able to perform as you should. But that's why, for example, my lean is on spacebar, because I use my thumb all the time instead of jumping. I don't jump that much. I will use my lean more than jumping. So for me, it actually makes more sense to actually have it on spacebar than E and Q, for example. Some people have it, you know. But now, let's say, for example, your fingers are extremely long, for example, right? Maybe you need to have it, I don't know, on Alt on your right side, you know, or maybe on N, maybe on something. But try to find a bit what makes sense for your physiognomy, for your physical, that actually makes sense for you. This is for like things. So you want things to be much more easier. That's why people do this as well too. Like the I've been starting to use it as well too. Is the keybind settings, for example, on tactical. Where is it? This one, tactical equipment. They've been putting the flashlight on the shooting button, right? Because what happens is that when you have a gun, let's say, for example, be using the FAMAS, for example, put this, put that, and I put a flashlight, right? So when I shoot, it turns my flashlight on all the time. Every time I click it, it turns it on. But then I don't have to think about turning my flashlight on. If I have it on the key on my mouse, for example, it might make my mouse slightly, let's just waver off the center where I want it to be. But this makes things a bit much more easier for me. It makes it a bit much more, yeah, much more easier to, like, I don't have to think about stuff like that. And flashlight is very broken in this game, right? And then the other thing as well too is like when you want to put your flashlight, you want to put your flashlight on the right side, right? Because this is flashlight on. I hate that keyboard. I didn't like it as well too, but I'm starting to think is like I've stepped on the slip. I just started streaming as well too, Richard. So I'm appreciate the compliment as well too. But I will have to leave soon as well too. My girlfriend's been waiting for a long time. But flashlight, one tip is that if you look at the flashlight on the right side, is that you see it like, let's say, let's do a reference, like it's here, right, to here. So this to here, right? If I have it on the left side, right, same way I aimed, you see how much off it is? It is very off, right? But when you're peaking, you most likely will peak on the right side. So you want the flashlight to be more efficient on the right side. No, I think I'm gonna call it a day, Reaper. I'm gonna stop rambling at some point because like I'm running out of voice and stuff. But yeah, that's a little previous thing. But yeah, flashlight, you want flashlight on the right side. That's the reason why you have it. And also off center yourself. That laser goes on left to help with right peak advantage and element of surprise. Flashlight, you don't really use lasers, I would say. Lasers for me, it gives you position away. You know, and the thing that like laser does is mostly give you like let's say for example F2000 for example is pretty crazy with the hip fire for example. It only gives you hip fire. Where is it? This one, right? It only gives you hip fire stability, right? So if I do this and I change to a key grip, you can actually hip fire the fuck out of it. But let's say for example, right? I have a F2000, right? I have an F2000, right? Hip fire is very good. Like I know exactly where my gun when I'm shooting, because this is where the laser is, right? But if I'm fighting somebody, like, and I'm peeking, like that, you see that laser stuff. Like that person would know exactly where you are. I just saw the laser for BM money. No, they pretty much. But some guns you just want to run it because like this for example is like it's 100 hip fire. I played a game where I forgot to put a scope on the F2000 and I played it as CS:GO for example. I literally just went out like this. But the hip fire is so good on this that you can actually just point and shoot pretty much. Right? So laser pretty much just gives you hip fire. That's what it is. And I don't think you need to have it on to actually have to have it active. So you can just put it on and don't even turn it on, and you will still have the hip fire stability, I think. Correct me on that, I'm not sure, but I've never done it. But I don't use lasers. I use lasers only to stack things to get money because some of them is like 30k, so I stack as much I can on this because I can put 2 lasers on this. Or just do things to fuck around, for example. Just like to fuck around, like you do like the, where is it? E95, for example, you can do like a weird as built with where is it? You can do this not real. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? With extended barrel, I think. You can put like a flashlight here. You can put a flashlight here. This is like troll build pretty much. With the rail, another flashlight, another flashlight, another flashlight. You know, these are like troll build pretty much. If you want to put like laser to look like the Predator, for example, like this is purely for trolling, I think. This is purely for trolling, you know, like that. Like if you want to look like the Predator or something, you know. But you can't, it doesn't stack anyways. So having multiple laser on does not really help you anyways. So it will take on consideration the highest one. But you stack them up just to make money. So stuff like that, for example, if you want to Tetris, you manage to actually have a gun like this, just stack everything on the gun. And then you maximize your gain pretty much and stuff like that. So even like guns like this, stack it. AK-12, for example. AK-12, for example, there's two ways you can put a scope. You can actually put a secondary scope here as well too. It's gonna look goofy. It's gonna look goofy as hell, but you are taking an extra 25k. So what you could do, for example, you could put like, I don't know, like a 1x4 on it, and then put another scope on top. You maximize the space, you maximize the amount of money you come out with. So yeah. So this is something maybe some people forget with the AK-12 is that you can actually put two scope on it. Didn't expect one to be, I think that would be 5 position. Oh my god. Yeah. Anyways, I will call it a day. I will send you guys to somebody else. But I really appreciate the follows, by the way, and the time listening to me rambling about stuff. I hope it's quite helpful. And I am not like talking out of my ass and stuff, but I really appreciate you guys like, you know, staying here because I can see the viewers and stuff. Like you guys been watching the whole time. Really appreciate that, but I really need to go. Maybe tomorrow I'll be back again for it, and I don't really have a schedule and stuff. Like I do the streaming for hobby. But yeah, I hope I can catch you guys after. And that has been very, very, very helpful for maybe new players or whatever. But yeah, I will call it a day. I will send you to I will send you to Mr. Siri, actually. I will send you to Mr. Siri. Mr. Siri is a very good player. He's much better than me, but I will send you guys to him. Ask him anything that you want. Tell him I sent you. If you want tips and all this stuff, and he's a very, very good player. He's been banned like I don't know how many times now, 6, 7 times now, because he plays too good. So yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Hope I see you guys next time. I might be on tomorrow, but yes, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow or maybe on Thursdays. All right.